Yo, it's the recap. It's Tuesday. Get in here. You know what time it is. You know what's happening. Let me turn this down. Did I put it in the comments correctly? Let me turn this down. It's the recap, man. If you here, if you get in here, you know what time it is. You know what to do. We're gonna talk about Friday, last Friday, and we're just gonna have some general conversation. So feel free to join the live. Uh, let me give me 2 seconds. Let me put this in the comments. H. How y'all doing, man? Get in here. Y'all know what's going on. // Hey, you know what I'm saying? And as y'all know, with the Tuesday night recap, you more than welcome to join this live. I know y'all be wanting to come in on them Friday nights, but it's more difficult on the Friday night because we be having live guests in the building, and there be a lot going on. So it's hard for me to have y'all in here on a Friday night, but this is what the recap is about. So we're gonna talk about what we talked about Friday. Just a brief overview of what happened Friday. Um, and then we're gonna get into some general conversation, some stuff that just been at the top of my mind that I want to discuss with y'all because y'all are my people and I rock with y'all heavy, and y'all rock with me heavy. So 6181. If you in here, I just dropped the link. Let's see, did it go through? Cross my fingers. Yes, it did. I just dropped the link in the comment section. So basically, with me dropping the link in the comment section, you are able to tap the link. If you're dealing with an iPhone, you gotta enter the link into your Safari. So copy it, put it in your Safari, and then it'll let you come through. If you're using Chrome, it won't. If you're using an Android, I don't know what's going on with Android. I don't have any Androids. My phone's ringing. I don't have an Android, so I don't know. Oh, that's my pops. I'm getting ready to talk about my pops too, real quick in a second. It's crazy. I don't have an Android, so I don't know what's to that. But I want y'all to jump in here, man, because this is a big deal. It might put it in there twice now. I believe it's gonna put it in there twice now. This is a big deal. I shoot this Tuesday night recap because oftentimes through the week, what'll happen is I'll just be posting stuff, and I want to talk about it. If I'm sharing it, if I'm posting it, if I'm giving it to the world, then obviously, you know what I'm saying, it holds some type of weight. It's something that I saw that I thought was interesting. I mean, a lot of times if I'm sharing stuff, I'm just really showing support, to be honest. Supporting those around me, supporting those who support me, of course, and just trying to show love. I mean, because at the end of the day, that's what all of this is about. But yeah, no. So start the joints. Hold on, let me turn this off because it's about to get real. I was actually geared up for this last earlier today. Um, I was having a conversation with somebody. Um, I was having a conversation with somebody about the Tuesday night recap, and I got really excited because oftentimes when we shoot the podcast on Fridays, I try to deviate. I try to bring people in here who got good conversation, man. I be seeing their stuff on social media, or they got something to offer you all. So when I bring them in here, a lot of the times the conversation is just geared to knowing what other people think, because quite often as we grow older, and y'all know this because y'all got parents as well, or I hope, well, would hope a lot of y'all do. We start to think as adults we just know everything, so we just grown, so we know everything. Everything we think is law when, in fact, it's not. So, you know, that type of thing kind of gets thrown around, and to be honest, I'm a victim of it. I'm very well read. I will read the backside of a damn cereal box. Well, that was in my old days. I don't eat cereal that often no more. When I do, it's just kind of like quick just to get out the way because I'm hungry. But you give me something, bro, I'll pick it up and read it. If something pop up in my Apple News, I'll read it. If it's a interesting article, I'll read it because I'm trying to always expand knowledge. But that also comes at a price. You read a lot, you take in a lot of information, and then you start to think, I know a lot. Yeah, no, that's you kind of go wrong in that. So put a pin in that. Y'all hold on to that. Stick around for that because we'll get back to that conversation later. But let's just off top get into Friday night. Friday night, DA, what happened Friday night? I was in the studio by myself, kind of sort of how I am with the Tuesday night recap. Bro had something going on, and the guest that we had fell through. So I was just like, you know what, bro was like on my bumper. He like, man, you shooting. No matter what comes to what, you shooting. So I had a whole bunch of stuff going on with the car. Was ripping and running, trying to get stuff taken care of, and I was like, you know what, man, I ain't even gonna shoot. When ultimately I ended up shooting anyway, and I had a great fucking time, bro. It was just like amazing. To say the least. Got a lot of good reviews from the show. You know what I'm saying? As always, those who support like they do. But we just, well, not we, in the Friday night joint. Um, just running through a few of the topics right now. We had the situation where the young lady, and I found out that Ash Customs isn't the parent of the little boy with the picture that was posted, so that wasn't her. Let me just throw that out there. She just be on social media trolling. She got like 300,000 followers on social media. So a lot of times she just sees stuff and she'll crop it out, make it her own, and post it. So I kind of shot at her. Well, I really didn't, but said something, and come to find out, it wasn't her post. But there was a mother on social media who had posted her. So I actually think I still got this queued up. Oh yeah, I do. I still got it queued up, and I'm gonna start to shoot the recap from here too, because it's just easier when I do the recap to pull up the conversation that we had. But this was something that popped up on the docket last week to be discussed on Friday, um, and again, this is crazy. I don't want to kick the horse too much, you know what I'm saying, because it's dead or reheat cold fries, as my brother say sometimes. But stuff like this is beyond crazy, man. And it just so happened. Yeah, you always picking on women. It just so happened that the conversation last Friday was geared toward women, but it was just a lot of stuff that I was receiving that people were sending in, sending to me personally, texting me, tagging me in, and that's usually how it happens. To be honest, I'll see whatever I see. If it's interesting to me, then I'll talk about it. If not, you know what I'm saying, or if it's got like a lot of comments on the post, I'll bring it to you all, obviously, because I love y'all to death. Y'all my core. Y'all been rocking with me, man, since the drop. So I'll oftentimes bring that conversation to y'all because I think that what y'all have to say is important. So we just talk through it, and it's a lot of times you'll see stuff, you'll comment on it, but you won't see nobody else that you know comment on it. So it's just always nice to have other people who are like yourself commenting on something that you think, you know what I'm saying, is important. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I got the camera set up like right in front of the. Here, let me do this real quick. I got it like set up like right in front of where I'm sitting because I don't know, it's just easier. I feel comfortable shooting from this space. So anyway, this popped up. This young lady was putting makeup on her son, and you know what I'm saying. I expended a lot of energy on this Friday, but this is just a recap. I think this is bogus, man. Like it sucks on so many different levels, and ultimately, she's going to scar this young man, and it's unfortunate for him. But his mom is his mama. What is he going? What is he gonna do? And then, nope, I don't want to do that one because we're gonna bring that one back actually Friday. We have this. Imagine raising your son with no help from his dad, and the first thing he does when he turns 23 is get a mic and a podcast and say single mothers are ruining the community. I'm begging y'all to leave when daddy leaves. Let the orphanage sort this shit out. Man, I be wanting to stall women out in a lot of these situations, man, because oftentimes the women that watch the I Just Want to Talk podcast and many other podcasts like it, of course, you're going to be able to tell, the I point of view. I wouldn't do that. That's dumb. Why would she put her child in that type of situation? Or, why this and why that and what I would and wouldn't do. You know, I had a few people say this about me, like, or you see that one meme that was surfacing the internet. Men don't seek, men don't seek counseling. They just start a podcast or something like that. And it's just kind of like I always ask, bro, why do we always got to be healing from something? That to me is just illiterate in itself. That in every situation, every facet in life, whatever a man is dealing with, going through, whatever he's trying to overcome, it has to be something from his past. But I mean, again, that's the new age that we live in. We always have to put things to something to be able to explain it, where it's just, maybe that's just what he wanted to do. Maybe that's just who he is. Maybe that's just, it's a derivative from an old relationship or his last relationship. It doesn't always have to be something that's traumatizing to him in his life or whatever the case may be. So again, this was another thing that we discussed. Um, and my question to this was, Marley, like, what type of woman are you? What type of mother were you? What type of parent had you been to this kid that made him want to pick up a microphone and say single mothers are ruining the community? Because that's what you miss here. We miss that whole portion and what she just said. What type of mother was she that made her son feel like he had to say this? Or is her son saying single mothers are ruining the community? But I had a great mother. You know, my mother did all that she could do to raise me and protect me and to provide for me. So, again, you know, this is just a snapshot of what's happening. It's a snapshot of what somebody thinks, what somebody believes. So, you know, you can't honestly put too much weight on it because you don't know. But I mean, again, it was some decent conversation to be had. So, it is what it is. Um, that was Friday. I was in here by myself, so it was a lot of me just jargoning at y'all, which I haven't done that in quite a while. I know you might say, or you might be thinking, well, yeah, you shoot the recap. This isn't the same. For me, a podcast is not just somebody getting in front of a camera and just talking. A podcast has to be entertaining. It has to have levels. It has to have depth. It has to have emotions. It can't just be this long monotone structure of something going along in a straight line. That's not what a podcast is. It has to be thought provoking. It has to be gut wrenching. It has to be engaging. You know, you have to bring people into who you are. You can't just be sitting there, well, this is what I think about this and blah. Yeah, no, that kind of doesn't work. So either way, this is what I really wanted to shoot the Tuesday night recap about. Two things, two posts. For whatever reason, I just lost track of the other one. So I'll just speak to this. This week I posted a status after seeing a video. I saw a video. Let me give you some backdrop on the video. I saw a video. The dude was walking around a mall, like an expensive mall, and he was interviewing people that were deemed successful. Like this mall was like where all of the people who got bread shop at. Can't remember the city he was in, whatever. But he's walking through interviewing people in this mall, right? So then he comes up on this dude, or this dude comes upon him, and he was like just having a conversation, general conversation with his cameraman. And he was like, hey man, the dude walked up on him. He was like, hey bro, what y'all doing? And he was like, oh man, I'm just shooting interviews, with successful people that I see who got money. So he was like, well, why didn't you ask me? Why didn't you ask me to shoot an interview? And he just kind of like looked at the dude, and the dude was dressed fairly regular. And so he was like, well, man, you don't look like them. And obviously, to some degree, it was a skit here or there because they had to have known each other, and it was a setup. But I took a lot from that small interaction that they had, and he just started to break down who he was and what he do, and why he dresses the way that he does, so on and so forth. So sometime after that, I was just sitting thinking, and it was the conversation, the video that I had just saw, was just sitting on me. And so I was like, man, that's real interesting that it doesn't always look like how you want it to look. And so I put it to the DA way, like I always do, and I typed it out in the post. And I was like, don't take advice from someone that you wouldn't switch bank accounts with. Now, when I explain this to the 10 of y'all who are in here, I would hope somebody shared this live because I really kind of need this one to get out to the masses. Oftentimes, when I post anything, it's socially based. I will see something that's appealing to me and take the socialistic view from it and then put it off onto the platform that I have just to get everybody's point of view. I remember at one point in time, I was accused of not liking women, black women particularly. Like, all my kids' mothers are black. Every woman I've ever dealt with is black. My mom was black, my grandma's black. I was accused of that. I've been accused of just stirring the pot, which sometimes I will brag about doing, but it's only because the viewing public makes it so easy. But this particular conversation, I just kind of wanted to see how everybody would receive it, how it would be perceived if I just typed an open-ended statement. And 80% of the people, I would almost go so far as to say 94% of the people, jumped on and told me I was wrong. Oh man, I don't agree with that. Man, you talking crazy. Oh, I can't agree this time. I'm talking about every comment was much of the same. I can't believe you would say that. Somebody even posted a Bible verse, which I thought that was hilarity, to be honest, because I don't even play on that spectrum of things. But I mean, if you get whatever you need to get out of life from the Bible, kudos to you 100%, not knocking nobody for it. Um, but on the back end of it, think about what I said in the post. Don't take advice from anyone you wouldn't switch bank accounts with. Now, while I'm saying that, let me give you this. So I was talking to my father this weekend. Quick story. Quick story. I was talking to my father this weekend and we was having a conversation. It was a little bit more personal, so I won't get into it. But in the conversation, I was just playing devil's advocate, both sides, listening to my father, but giving rebuttal from the other side. Obviously, the other side wasn't present in this conversation, so I was just trying to, again, play devil's advocate. My father sat back in his chair and he was like, man, I don't know if it's just me, but this podcast really got you being liberal lately. And I smiled in my heart, bro. Like, I really, truly smiled in my heart. And I was like, what you mean? He was like, man, bro, you be so, you be so objective one minute and then you be subjective the next. And I'm like, yeah, no, because that's what happens when you seek to understand. I don't know if a lot of you all are familiar with the 48 laws of power, but I believe it's like the 9th law somewhere in there where the conversation is win through your actions, never through argument. And what that says to me is, and this is a popular conversation now, everybody is saying it, you have to listen to understand and not always to respond. I notice on this platform that I have, you just want to prove me wrong all the time. When subjectively speaking, if you look at what I said, don't take advice from someone you wouldn't switch bank accounts with. First and foremost, to everybody who jumped up, well, you don't know how much money a stranger has. Why the fuck would I be having a conversation with a stranger and even remotely considering switching bank accounts with them? Put a pin in that, DA. All too often, you'll see these conversations or you'll see statements on social media that says women shouldn't take advice from their single friends. Women shouldn't take relationship advice from their single. Well, why not? The social construct says, yeah, agree with that. No woman in a relationship should take advice from her single friends. That doesn't make any sense because per the conversation or the comments that I was receiving on this particular post, wouldn't a single woman know how to help her friend stay in her relationship? Or wouldn't a single woman know the red flags that she should be telling her friend that she should be avoiding if she's single, if she's been in relationships? Exactly. So when I'm having a conversation or when I post something, don't always think you're right by just jumping on and agreeing. Take a second, maybe a minute, ask, hey, DA, give a little bit to that. Expound upon that. Like, elaborate a little bit. Let me understand where you're coming from. Because why in the hell would I be walking down the street having a conversation with a complete stranger, even remotely thinking about their bank account? Duh. But let's back this train up a little bit, DA, before we get too far. A lot of people in these types of conversations aren't even in the room with people who are deemed successful. Now, I know y'all gonna say, oh, well, who do you think he talking to and blah, 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 blah. Bro, a lot of y'all don't even face these types of conversations, so how would you even know to whom you could be lending advice to? One way or the other. We have to start to think objectively now and just take a second, man, and try to understand where somebody is coming from. I find myself doing that more and more. Now, there are times, I will admit, where I stir the pot. I do it purposefully because I'll see everybody going this way and I'll choose to go that way because it's easier for me and I can hold my own. But if y'all don't take notice to what I do now, I'll post some shit, set it on fire, and walk away from it and watch all of y'all come stand there and stare at it. And I'll just be back reading the comments laughing because I get pleasure out of it. Now, some people might say, well, DA, that's kind of what your platform is, and it's not. I would like to believe that I have an informative platform. I would like to believe that I allow people to come in here and speak their minds about whatever. And when we're in here having conversations, minus when I just had my brothers in here a couple weeks ago, and I felt like they was telling me what I couldn't do, not that's not what they were doing, but they was telling me how hard it would be, and I'll push back and argue against that. I don't argue when we in here and we sitting down. I'll throw a topic out there. It's called fishing. I'll bait the topic and throw it out there, and let's just see what we can come up with. That's what information is. So going back to the podcast, the week before, when I said this is the age of information, I'm trying to bring in as much information as I possibly can every single time I turn these cameras on. 100%. 100%. Every time I turn these cameras on. Oh, I know what the other subject was about. See, DA, if you talk long enough, it'll come to you. Oh, you know what? I'm tripping. Oh, well, obviously y'all can hear me 100%. But I could have been talking in the mic this whole time. But either way, it's the Tuesday night recap, so I won't do that. Oftentimes, I just want to learn from somebody. Like if y'all knew the range of people that I talk to on an everyday, you would know me well enough. Well, obviously you can't know that because you don't know me on the everyday. But just understand that everybody seeks information because that's just kind of the way of doing things. Hold on, let me scroll down because I've been seeing stuff. Hey, that's not the ninth law. The ninth law of power? Went through, what is it? It's went through your actions, not through your argument. That is. But look it up if you don't believe me. I mean, invite me in. I dropped, oh yeah, no. Hey, hit me, jump in the inbox, slide, because who I wanted to come last week couldn't come, and then she working a double. So come slide, sit down, have a conversation. I'm so far going in my conversation, man. You going to jail. What it do, kid? Man, I'm so far in the conversation, y'all. I just was on the roll and I wasn't paying attention to your comments. But DP, go look that up. The ninth law of power, win through your actions, never through argument. That's winning through your actions is understanding what somebody is saying, and not arguing is actually, you understanding. So, I mean, I kind of put one to another, but again, it's just what it is. Hey, the greatest barber alive. Hey, man, y'all know what it is. My Cuddy in the building, Chrissy. Shout out to Brandon Ship, B Ship, of course, DP. Hey, Miss Muzille, come sit down. I would love for you to be a part of this conversation Friday. It's gonna be crazy, Brandon. We're gonna have to get you in here too. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not blaming you, bro. I'm in that book. Just because I don't talk about it, just because I don't have it, drop for every conversation, because everybody not ready for that conversation, DP, because that's a way of living. Them 48 laws is truly a way of living. But, some people got the Bible, I got the 48 laws of power. Shout out to Robert Greene. But anyway, so yeah, no, man, just take that into consideration. Before we so anxiously jump to prove somebody wrong, try to understand who somebody, hold on one second. This happened last week. Yeah, y'all be cool. I'm being cool. I'll be cool. Y'all be cool. Before we so effortlessly look to prove somebody wrong or just sound right. And I mean, I get it, man. A lot of times I piss people off on my conversation. You know what I'm saying? I understand. I don't always say what's pleasing to the ear, but I offer all the time. Either come in on a live or come sit down in the podcast studio. That's simple, and we can discuss it. But it's like, I'll post something, and y'all will go crazy. Oh, no, this nigga wrong. He don't know what he talking. Hey, listen, it's just my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. So that said, excuse me, I don't know what it is about me being live, bro, that I just belch every time. And that was super rude. Again, let me drop this in here. Let me drop this in here just in case somebody want to come. Just in case somebody want to come holler at your boy, man. Let me drop that in there. This week I took a lot of flack. Switching gears. This week I took a lot of flack because in the Friday conversation, I was speaking to the part that women play in fathers not being in their children's lives. And I would hope somebody chimes in this, man. Because, Friday, it was just me doing a whole bunch of moving and back and forth on the screen and moving my hands, and I was super excited. I probably still had this hat on, or maybe it was that Yankee hat right there, 2, 3 ones, or whatever. I got a million Yankee hats, but it was more than likely this one. This is like my favorite one. It fits my bald head perfectly, even though my head ain't bald, and my barber's here, and he can tell you, no, that nigga got a hairline. So either way, I spoke to the part that mothers play in their children and fathers not having a relationship. And I put the clip up. And it was like women jumping on it. Well, why I gotta beg a man to be a father to a child he laid down with me and had? No one's saying you have to beg, but I was only simply asking for the receipt of you saying, "Come be his father," and the man saying, "No, we laid down. Once you got pregnant, I no longer wanted to deal with this child whatsoever. Itch, F you," and walked away. I specifically asked the question the way that I did because obviously it's a fire starter, right? So it's going to tick somebody off. But then when I asked the question after I answered the women's question, well, why do a woman have to produce any receipts to show that their father is not a deadbeat? You don't have to do anything. All I ask is that you tell what part you played in that man not being there. Because this is what happens 70% of the time. And I don't even know that that's a real statistic. But this is what happens in these relationships, right? A man and a woman are together. She gets pregnant. A man starts to go through all of these psychological thoughts. Can I truly take care of this child? Can I take care of myself? Am I responsible enough to handle this? Should I been having sex, raw, whatever? You know, you have to self-check often because self-reflection is huge. Self-inflection is huge. And it becomes a mound of pressure for a man to care for somebody else when he doesn't even know how to care for himself. Let's break this down to the simplest form of understanding. A lot of times, man, when you women are out here, I don't want to say you women, when women are out here and they're dealing with men, you kind of know who these guys are, right? Because you'll have the situation where, you know, he's only taking a bath regularly when he's at your house. You'll have the situation where once y'all get super comfortable, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you start washing his clothes, you can see that he doesn't quite take care of himself. You'll have the situation where he'll wear the same pants 4, 5, 6 times before he sends them to the cleaners. That's a problem. He won't clean the bathroom regular. He won't. Now, he might be responsible enough to go out and pay some rent because he needs to live somewhere. He'll be responsible enough to have a decent car. We won't say that everybody has the best car, but he's not as responsible as you would like a father to be. And again, in these very first situations when a man first has his first child, obviously no man knows how to be a good dad, a great dad at the first outset. I mean, if he had a father in his life, then that's fine. If not, he can only do what he didn't have. But there's a lot of pressure that comes with taking care of another soul. There's a lot of pressure just being a man altogether, you know, because you can't complain. You can't be emotional. You can't talk about what you think and you feel. You always gotta suck it up. You always gotta find a way. You always gotta walk it off. Nobody is ever really truly there to listen to you. Oh, well, he needs to go see a therapist. Man, shut the I don't even want to climb on that soapbox because I swear to God I'd be there all day. But then when you add an extra life, so now that pressure starts to mount on him, and he starts to self implode, meaning he'll fold over on himself because he doesn't believe he can do it. And then he might be looking at you now like, damn it, why did I get myself in this situation? I didn't want to have no baby with this woman. Yeah, whatever. And then y'all start getting to it. If he isn't a man in the first place, he definitely gonna fold and walk away. But what oftentimes makes it worse is, you know, because you have the maternal instinct, women, that you do, you know it's rise or fly. You know what I'm saying? Either I'm gonna take this baby and I'm gonna quarterback the fuck out this situation and score every year, or, you know, I'm gonna be one of these mothers who getting my hair done and my baby's in 2 straps, or my kid's always sick, or my kid's always got a snotty nose, or, you know what I'm saying? They very rarely getting the nutritional things that they need to be successful in life. I'm probably not the best, you know, educational teacher for them. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. But when you dealing with this man and now this relationship is not working and you start to lean on him, he already had psychological issues on his own. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to be a good dad to this kid. I don't know if you know if the way that I was raised is gonna be ideal. And then in the beginning, y'all start to have conversations while you're pregnant. He'll say, well, I don't want this kid to do one thing, and you'll say, well, I want this kid to live this way, and then he'll say, well, I want my child to be, and then that's where the differences start. Y'all already start to unravel from the beginning. So then when that first major argument comes in, let me check these comments real quick. Okay, nobody's saying nothing great because I think I'm on the roll. When the first major argument comes and the split happens, then that's when, you know what I mean, all hell breaks loose. Not in the literal sense, but I mean in the sense of y'all joint relationship. The child isn't even born yet, but you already have this rebuttal against each other where this relationship isn't working. So it's the worst. And then the kid comes and then you start to realize, like, damn it, I shouldn't have had a baby with this thing. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not as responsible. Now, the money that he was taking, spending on you going on dates, you know what I'm saying? He jagging it on a new chain, or he just want to buy a new car and the baby need diapers. But he wasn't responsible from the jump. And so now you leaning on him more and more. And now he don't even want to deal with the kid because he got to deal with you. That becomes a super unfortunate situation. Shout out to Volsky. Oh, the Simpsons, the Simpsons reference. Okay, I got you. Yeah, big you. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, y'all. Let me get myself together, man. Shout out to Volsky though on some for real. Let me get myself together though. I just caught that straight up. That's live. That's real in a real way. Um, it already creates a discourse, a disconnect between the two of you. So now when you see that this cat is not the responsible person that you wish he would have been all along, now it gets worse. Now he ain't shit, his mama ain't shit, his daddy ain't shit, and now you leaning on him. Shout out to Volsky. Now you leaning on him. I always say women reflect the type of relationship that a man has with his child. I can stand on that 10 toes down. I can stand on it 10 toes down. Women reflect the type of relationship that a man has with his child. Because a man can only love his child if him and a woman's relationship is conducive with civility. Somebody get this kid a dictionary, Volsky. You see me? You know what I'm saying? If they have a civil relationship, then it's easy for him to be a father to his child. You know what I'm saying? But if their connection is off, and oftentimes a lot of these dudes are bums. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll see in the front part of relationships, dude be like, well, man, I just want to come over and smash. And shorty be like, no, I ain't on that. So then he be like, well, man, fuck you and fuck that kid too. That's unfortunate. He is 100% a bum for that. But then on the flip end, folk want to come pick the shorty up, and then the first question she asks, well, who all gonna be over there? Do you pay rent over there? You pay that mortgage? You paying them lights, gas, whatever? You paying that? No? Then who over there don't matter to you? Oh, well, you ain't finna have my kid around, yada, 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 yada. Meanwhile, you can only say that because hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully the kid is asleep when you getting smashed by whoever coming over there taking you down. But you can run his house, but he can't run yours. And so then oftentimes it creates, again, a discourse between the two people. And that creates a very toxic environment for the child because now the man doesn't want to deal with you at all. And when he doesn't want to deal with you at all and no sense of the conversation, then you ultimately do what? Well, you don't want to talk to me? Let me take this kid out the equation. You can't see my baby. And that's where the problems come in. So when I say something to the tune of, yeah, show us what part you played in him not being a father, that's what I mean, because I kept getting a lot of that. Well, what type of receipts you want to see? What type of receipts you want to see? I want to see the type of receipts that indicate that you were saying, hey, bro, peace, love, happiness. I don't care about none of that. Here, and shuffling the kid across here, take the kid, go have fun, be the best father you can be. But that's not always the case. And of course, we're gonna have a lot of men who say, well, I don't want to fuck with her no more. I just want the kid, bro. Shut up, bro. Shut up, bro. Like, you ain't got to do that tough thing. You ain't got to do that tough thing. If you wanted to be with Shorty and it didn't work out, you should have did what you were supposed to do. Once somebody else started taking her down, what the lady say? He hitting the bottom. that other nigga, that other nigga hitting the bottom. You know what I'm saying? And now she can't even think straight because he done ejaculated all in her brain. That's too far. That's too far. I should have queued that up though and had that ready. And then on the flip side, ladies, no other woman wants to be your child's mama. I'm gonna keep it all the way a buck. I don't know what y'all be thinking, but women are just like men in the situation when it comes to being step parents. Don't no woman want to be the mother to your child. She wants you to actually come get these little nappy motherfuckers. So her and him can go out and they can pop pills and screw all night, whatever their thing is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not judging nobody, man. Of course I'm not judging nobody. 100% not judging nobody. But it is just what it is. Let's call a spade a spade. And that's just often what happens. Period. Period. So hopefully I shine the light on that enough for y'all. You know what I'm saying? And I would hope I dropped the joint in the comments here. Let me because I see y'all in here. I appreciate the love. Folks say definitely pop a pill. Taurus, get it together, man. I love you to death. Here, let me see. Chrissy, I need you to come in here with that one. I hear you spitting because it's happened in my relationship. I mean, and I don't even know that, Voski. Voski, I don't know you from a can of paint. But obviously, we all been through it. So that's why I can speak to it. Because it happened to us, man. And it happens quite often. Here, let me throw these on, man. Because me trying to read without these, woo child. With the psychological issues going on, what do you suggest the parents do? Some people actually benefit from seeing a therapist. I'm not telling them not to go see a therapist. I'm gonna just be honest, 100%, completely honest. I'm not telling you not to, because whatever is your cup of tea is your cup of tea. If that works for you, it works for you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm with that 100%. You know what I'm saying? I'm with that 100%. Do it if it's what needs to be done. But my thing is, we can't always say that because something is psychological that it needs a psychiatrist to fix. Self-reflect. Ask yourself some very hard questions. You know what I mean? Or, how about this? We start sitting down and having the hard conversations in the beginning of relationships. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Like, bro, I want you to undress. Like, seriously. Like, not in the literal sense, but figuratively speaking. Take the eyelashes off. Take the wig off. Let's cry. Shit, if we can't cry in the first month of us talking to each other, something's wrong. Because if it's something paining you that bad that it ruins the rest of your life, then shit, you maybe need to cry about it. Whether you crying on somebody else's couch or on the first date, I don't know, man. I'm just saying. Here, let me get through here because Chrissy had a question. Or she had a statement. Chrissy says, women were put here to be providers and to protect and nurture a child and keep a home, even if they didn't have those attributes growing up. A lot of women don't have it in them to allow a man to father. Cuddy, you be hitting home runs, Cuddy. But that one, where you start off, you say, well, women were put here to be providers and protect. I'm gonna have to honestly, respectfully disagree. Women were put here to nurture. My brother Sir Mike talks about this often, about how like that first part of a child's life, years like 1 through 8, those are mommy years. Maybe he even goes a little bit younger than that, but those are mommy years. Daddy is involved, but daddy doesn't have to be the driving voice every day of 1 through 8. Daddy just has to, be daddy. Parks, sports, conversations, tussling on the floor, tea parties, nail painting, that whole thing. But after a certain age, daddy needs to be the influence. Once a child is able to understand and comprehend what daddy is saying, daddy has to be the driving voice then. Daddy has to be the end all be all. When daddy speaks, daddy voice shakes you to your core. Speaking about Stu Ray earlier, man, I remember I was about 9, 10 around this time. I may have been a little bit younger than that. But my dad would talk to me, and anybody who knows my dad, I have a deep voice, I would like to believe, but my dad has like this super scintillating, like, bro, when I was a kid, my dad's voice used to scare the shit out of me. Like, my dad speaking to me regular, like, so do you want pizza for dinner? I end up just crying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just asked me if I wanted pizza. But because his voice was so deep, like, it would just rock me to the core. Or we just be having regular conversations, say I do something bad. He'd be like, well, do you know why you did that? And I'd be like, yeah. He'd be like, well, why'd you do it? And I'd be like, I don't know. And I just start crying. And then he'd be like, well, what you crying for? I'd be like, I don't know. He just had that. So my father, you know what I'm saying, before things shook left and my mom shipped us off to California, my father's voice was that voice. And it stuck with me my whole life. Even now, I'm of this big age that I'm at. And a lot of times when I get ready to do something or if my conscience is kicking in, I can hear two voices in my head. I can hear my big brother Antonio and I can hear my father. I'm not kidding y'all. And it's like these are like the two people that I drive every day, not to disappoint. Now I still do the dumb crap that I do half the time, but I just don't want to disappoint either of those two individuals. So again, you know, fathers don't have to be there, but mothers do more nurturing, Chrissy, than protecting and providing. It's this new age, and I don't want to say these new age mothers, but it's this new age of thinking, this new age of living, where women are a whole lot more independent because men have been removed or men have removed themselves from the situation. So that's always unfortunate. Volsky chimed in. He said, on the man's side, what do you think we can do to rebuild those relationships when we're involved with someone who was intentionally spiteful? Damn, Volsky. Ooh, on the man's side, what do you think we can do to rebuild those relationships when we're involved with someone who was intentionally spiteful? You know what? I don't know. Because as a man, we're quite prideful, right? You know, you hear this statement, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I think that's even a Bible verse, and it kind of not sucks, but whatever, I just threw it out there. You try to treat people nice, but when people do things out of spite, you oftentimes just want to remove yourself from that person. And that's what sucks about these types of situations where we having children with spiteful people, whether it's male or female. You just trying to move out of spite just to in spite of yourself, do me wrong, and I'm just trying to do right by you. That's tough, bruh. I mean, Volsky, that's tough. Damn, on a man's side, what do you think we can do to rebuild those relationships when we are involved with someone who was intentional? I don't, man. That was crazy. Hey, let me think on that. Let me and my brother talk about that one tonight. Because that's going to be like a 2-hour conversation. I ain't even going to hold you. That's crazy. But I mean, again, because of who we are, and I can only speak for the men. So if there's any women in here, please chime in on that side, or please come in. I dropped the link in there. Go find it. It's a YouTube link. It's a Facebook link as well. I put it in the Facebook comments. I mean, because I'll be honest, man. You know, in the situation with my kids' mothers, if they did something, I just remove myself. I can just only give you me. I don't know, you know, your situation. I can only give you me. I just decided to parent on the back end. And that's tough. Oh, man, it's tough. And that's why I'm trying to get this paper together. Because I want to be able to bring my children in and protect them, parenting on the back end. Because whenever a person has to parent without a father, they're only getting one side of the equation. And that's the emotional side. Every decision is emotion based. And children are being raised ultimately without logic. No matter how many times you're able to be there in spurts through the younger years, whatever logic you are able to instill just kind of doesn't stick. It doesn't take hold because you need to be there every day. So that's why I'm trying to run to this bag, because I got a lot of parenting to do on the back half, to be honest. I just do. And I mean, it's because a lot of it I was immature, young. That's why, you know, shout out to Denver, Donovan, and Jace, man, because they're going to get the best of me. But Tayshawn, Aubrey, and Isaiah, fuck. I mean, as good of a father as I wanted to be, I didn't know any better. But I mean, that's my transparency. And so just parenting on that back end, man, just letting them know that they are loved. And, you know, obviously, you know, by this big age that they're teenagers off to college and whatever the case may be. Shout out to mom for helping, you know, get off to college. But yeah, man, damn, that's self-reflection for you. I wish I could have been better, but I mean, if it was done out of spite and you have to remove yourself from that situation, I mean, oh man, this is really fucking unfortunate because a lot of times you'll see the situation where a parent, like, okay, so this is your hometown, wherever you are, and then the parent who has the custodial parent will take the kid and move, and you'll hear her say, "Well, I did what was best for me." Yeah, that was best for you, but was it best for the child? Yeah, that's oh man, that's wild. So you'll hear that, bro, and it's unfortunate. And but then if you look at how we are wired, just being prideful individuals, we'll have to move away because it was best for me because I don't want to hurt you. How do you? God damn, Volsky. You just put one between my ears, man. And if I keep talking through this, man, people, I'm gonna tell my whole fucking life story. And I really want y'all to touch on that because it has happened and will continue to happen to good fathers. You know what, Volsky? We're gonna do that Friday. DP, I don't know if you still here, but check that comment out, man. We're gonna sit with that one, man, and we're gonna try to provide some insight. And hopefully we'll have a woman in the building, man, who can speak to the feminine side of this conversation. Man, that's damn. Hey Volsky, you one of them. I don't know who you are, buddy. But you one of them. Yeah, no, that's a big deal, man. We definitely gonna have to get with that, man. Hey, I appreciate you for having that. Um, Damn, that just froze me. And then I just started talking through my own shit. So it just, I don't know what you do with that, man. But you know what? Again, self-inflection, man, we have to do that. That's big. And it's real important in this day and age, man, because how can I look at somebody on the outset and say you're wrong if I can't look at myself and be like, damn, yeah, no, that probably was wrong. Yeah, you probably got to go back in. Yeah, no, that's a big deal, man. So, um, I don't know, man. That's huge, man. But it is what it is. Hey, I don't want to hold y'all too long, so I want to leave y'all with this. This is something that I posted, and it was just an alley oop conversation. It's not nothing that I want to sit on too long. I don't want to. I don't want to let it outweigh the rest of the conversation because that was just great, man. That whole back and forth was just really beautiful. But I want to start to address the men at the end of every show, at the end of every podcast that I do at the end of every Tuesday night recap. Fellas, if you in here, if you know somebody who's beating on a woman, yeah, man. If that's one of your guys, pull him to the side, man. If you've seen it, obviously, if you've heard about it, obviously, you can't do anything that you heard about, right? Because, rumors spread like flies on shit, right? Um, but if you know somebody who's abusing a woman, that's not cool. Say something to them. Let's get past this, and I don't know that we ever will. It's like roaches and drugs. This shit ain't going nowhere. Um, but as friends, if we can shine a light on these cats, man, and I mean, I don't step up and do some hating shit. Tell a woman, oh, well, you need to leave this nigga alone. I mean, if she asks you, maybe. Um, but a lot of these cats are abusive, man, and that's the psychological part. Getting back to what Miss Adams was saying, if they're dealing with some psychological stuff from their past, should they see somebody, I think that's huge. Not to say that whatever may have harmed you mentally, you can't seek help from it. But I mean, if you grew up in an abusive household, bro, that's it doesn't behoove you to put that off on somebody else. Like that's fucked up. So if you again, if you know somebody who is of this nature, that they find putting their hands on women as being pleasurable or a way of controlling them, say something to them. I mean, I hate to sound so corporate, but if you see something, say something. I'm sorry. That was so lame. Y'all gotta forgive me. But it's the truth, man. It's the truth. That's not cool. And if you are one of these type of cats, man, and you see this eventually sometime in your day, months down the line, because somebody shared it, shout out to everybody who shared this, by the way, shameless plug. Get over to that YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell. It's I Just Want to Talk podcast on YouTube. Let me stop. But for real, if you happen to see this, man, and you're one of those guys, fuck you, bro. You a pussy. It's DA, man. I Just Want to Talk. It's a Tuesday night recap. I love y'all. I'm gone.